Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Bases and Blitzes. I'm your host, Peyton Zwerek, and today we will be talking about the Chicago White Sox, specifically their Arizona Fall League, the three prospects they have in there, and the Chicago Bears in their game against the Giants, but also a sneak peek at their Vikings game. So let's get started with the White Sox. They have, like I said, three guys that are in Arizona, in the Arizona Fall League, and that is Hagen Smith, our left-handed top prospect pitcher, Sam Antonacci, our infielder, and Braden Montgomery, our outfielder. They're pretty high. They're in the top 100 for MLB pipeline, and that's fantastic. We have three guys that are getting recognized very highly in all of baseball, and that's fantastic for them. I'm so proud of them. Let's start with on the 9th of November, it was on Sunday, they had a fall all-star game, and all three of those guys played. They did pretty well, I would say, in it. And to start, the American League did beat the National League. So they're just eating it up like that. Hagen Smith pitched one inning. He had 25 pitches throughout that inning and 16 strikes. Threw 16 strikes throughout and gave up a single and a walk, but aside from that, he held them scoreless and held them to 2 strikeouts. Yay! That's fantastic. He topped out at 97.7 miles per hour. Pretty good. And his slider was between 86 to 82 miles per hour. So he's looking good. Throughout Arizona, the whole fall league, he has had 5 starts and has pitched 14 innings, giving up 7 hits, 4 runs, 1 home run. He hit 2 batters and gave up 6 walks, 21 strikeouts though, and an ERA of 2.57. So he's doing really well. He did do really well in Arizona. He's ranked 5th among White Sox prospects. Okay. And 88th overall in MLB pipeline. So he's doing really well, and hopefully he ended the season in Double-A in Birmingham, won the Southern League Championship, so hopefully he can be up in the majors by next year. We'll see how that goes. If anything, maybe June or July. We'll see how he does during spring training. Next, Sam Antonacci, the infield prospect that we have. He was batting 7th in the lineup and played second. Unfortunately, in the majors, that position is full. Chase Mydroth plays there. So, if anything, he would play third maybe. But we'll see how, if he comes up to the majors, how Will Venable wants to play him, or just as he progresses through the minors, how they want to play him. So his first at bat, he grounded out, and then his second at bat, he was hit by a pitch. So not much you can really do with that. And with his hit by pitch, he was walked with bases loaded to bring in a run. So, he worked his walk. That was not the hit by pitch. It was a separate at bat where he walked, and he brought in a run. So that's good. Working your walks, that's always good to see from young guys, especially because the White Sox, I would say, struggled with that in the past. I think I brought that up last podcast. Yeah. And then his last at bat, he hit a walk-off sac fly in the 9th, making the score 5-4, American League. So it's just, the White Sox that won it for us. Um, during that sac fly, his count was 3-2, and it was a fastball low and inside, and he drove it to left field. Pretty good, pretty good. Throughout Arizona, throughout his time there in the fall league camp, he had 71 at bats with a 3.94 batting average, and he hit 3 home runs, 3 doubles, 14 RBIs, 23 runs, 14 walks, 10 strikeouts, which can be worked on, and had 11 stolen bases. We need more base stealing guys, because the most memorable stolen base from last season was Chase Mydroth, when I don't remember who they were playing, but he was sliding to second, and he pulled his leg back and kind of like faked out the second baseman, shortstop, whoever was at second at the time, and got around him, and then he was safe at second. He was initially called out at second, but then he was like headphones, and they reviewed it, and he was safe. So, and that was like all over SportsCenter, all over ESPN. Dude's just iconic. What can I say? Back to Sam Antonacci though. Among all Arizona Fall League hitters, he was ranked 3rd in batting average. That's really impressive, because that means this guy is just ready to be a major league guy. Hopefully, in the near future, he will be up with us and in the White Sox clubhouse to get a World Series. I'll get more into that later, but that's more just my delusions, because I think they will win the World Series in 3 years. Within the next 3 years, they'll be winning. They'll have... Shout out my dad, because he thinks I'm crazy when I said last year that their record, the White Sox, their record would be 82 and 80, so above 500. I think they're going to get 100 wins this year. I might sound crazy, but let's just be hopeful. The White Sox will get 100 wins. Sorry, I'm not laughing. This is a serious conversation. The White Sox will get 100 wins. Next season, if they lock in and don't have a poor April and May. Because they had such a good July. Like, after the All-Star break, they were just ripping it. They were doing so well. So let's just hope for that at the beginning of the season, and we'll be fine. World Series bound. Oh, that's not a joke. That's not a joke, guys. I'm being serious. Even though it doesn't sound like it, my delusions are getting the best of me. Anyways, last thing is Antonacci is ranked 11th in White Sox prospects as of now, but because of his fall league experience, he might be going up in the rankings, maybe top 10. We'll see how that goes, because dude is killing it, and he might make top 10. As he should, though. Next, Braden Montgomery, our last guy we're going to highlight. He was a late addition in the final voting category for invites to Arizona Fall League. He missed the first half of this season play, Arizona Fall League season play, with his recovery from his fractured foot that he had in the second half of his minor league season. But once he did start going, and once he got going playing in Arizona, he was an immediate impact. In the All-Star game, though, he started in center and was hitting second. So, center could be his position if he wants. Shout out Luis Robert, because his contract is almost up, even though they just signed him. They just picked up his option. But you never know. He's getting a little older, and we don't know if we want him part of this core anymore, because he's the last of that broken core that we had. Next, He took 4 straight balls for a walk after an 0-2 count, so he got himself back in it and then ended up taking his walk. His next at bat, though, he flew out, which is fine. That's going to happen, of course. And then he ended up leading off the fifth with a 4-pitch walk and scored on Antonacci's walk. So that was that disastrous fifth inning for the National League where they walked bases loaded, and Antonacci ended up being the one to score Montgomery ended up being the one scoring when Antonacci drew his walk. But 11 games were played for Montgomery prior to the All-Star game, and he had a 351 batting average with 1 home run, 4 doubles, a triple, 10 RBIs, 10 runs, 13 walks, 12 strikeouts. That needs to be worked on, of course, and 3 stolen bases. Seeing a stolen base number is good, especially in 11 games. Like, it's not, it's like 1 every 3 games he's stealing a base, about 1 every 4. So that's not horrible, if you really think about it, but we would love to have more base stealers and speed in our lineup, because our catchers do really well at throwing people out, especially Teal. I prefer Teal over Kiero, but that's another discussion that I won't get into. Both of them are very young, and both of them are very good at throwing guys out at second. Their pop-up times are great. So, we'll get back into Brady Montgomery, though. Our last little things is he's ranked first in White Sox prospects. Yay! He's our number 1 prospect! Eat up! Yay! And then 35th overall in the MLB pipeline. So, the last little thing we're going to talk about with the White Sox is who's in and who's out. We have 4 coaches that are leaving, and then 3 that are new, but there's 1, Matt Wise. He's our bullpen coach. He's returning after 3 seasons previous with us. So the other guy that is staying, or not staying, he's new, is Derek Schulman. He's our new hitting coach, and he's from the Marlins, but previously did work with the Twins. And the guy everyone's excited about is Zach Bove. He's our pitching coach, and he's from the Royals. I don't understand why we keep getting guys from the Royals, but, that's okay. He's from the Royals organization, and we'll see how that goes, or see if that does well for us. Because last time we took a coach, Pedro Grifol, he was from the Royals, and he was not good. But that's okay, because now we have Will Venable, and now we're going to win the World Series. So, oh, I love saying that. It's true. They're going to win the World Series, so don't even play. Might take a little bit, might take some years, but, yeah. You won't be laughing when it's true. Anyways, coaches that are leaving is Ethan Katz, our former pitching coach. He worked very closely with Dylan Cease, and he is one of our pitchers that was here for a really long time. He's the only pitching coach I've known, but he's leaving now. I did not like him. Whoa, that was very aggressive. I'm sorry. I started to not like him because of the way he was handling our pitching staff, and I just felt like it was time for him to go. And this was his year to go. And that's totally fine because we got a new guy now. Next is Marcus Thames. He's our former hitting coach, was replaced. Jason Borges, he's our former first base outfield coach. And Drew Bertera, he was our former catching coach. They were all dismissed, and they are no longer with the White Sox. But that's okay, because we will get replacements if we haven't already, and again, we'll win the World Series. Don't play. Score predictions or record predictions. It's so early to tell. It's literally November, mid-November, but this is fun. I love doing this. So, with our current lineup, I think we're going to go, I'm going to be really optimistic with this one, but not like too optimistic. I'm going to be realistic as of now, and then it'll go up once like spring hits. I will probably be more likely to pick a higher winning record. But right now, I think the record's going to be play 162 games. Let's do 75 wins and 87. No. Let's change that number. I think they'll have 78 wins and 84 losses. That number is not specific in any way, shape, or form, but yeah, let's just say they'll have 78 wins and be close to 500, but not quite. But they'll make the playoffs, be a wild card spot, and this isn't realistic. I'm just really hopeful for this team. That's all I gotta say. I am extremely hopeful, and this core seems like this is it. They're gonna be the ones. So it'll be bringing a parade back to Chicago. Hopefully, this Bears team is as well. Moving on, we'll move on to the Bears next, and we will talk about Caleb Williams first. We'll highlight him and how clutch he is. Ben Johnson's calling him Houdini. People I saw are apologizing to him, saying that they're sorry for calling him a bust. First of all, he's in his sophomore season. Why were you saying he was a bust in his freshman season? Dan Orlovsky, I love Dan Orlovsky and his opinions, but saying Caleb Williams was a bust his first year, I don't think he said he was a bust, but he was questionable about Caleb Williams. But now he like apologized to him and was like, hey, like, dude, like, you're legit. King, why are you saying that about him in the first place? Like, let him develop, let him get his wings, let him eat down. And now he is. He's doing so good. Don't play with him. The one guy that still is doubting him and the Bears is Cam Newton. We won't get into Cam Newton, but that dude is crazy. Like, his opinions, it's like the stuff he says, it's like so like obvious. Like, I was listening to him, I'm gonna get off track for a second, but I was listening to him talk to Stephen A. Smith, and he was just saying how the Bears aren't gonna win the Super Bowl this year. Like, no duh. Like, bro, what? Like, duh. That's known. He's like, oh, I don't know about this. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Because, like, nobody thinks they're gonna actually win the Super Bowl. If they do, that's incredible, and I'm flying home immediately. But there's no way they genuinely do. They're a rebuilding team. They're still such a young team. There's no way. So, like, I just don't like how his opinions are so vague and in general. It just makes no sense. Anyways, not to get on a tangent, but we'll talk about more positives about the team, things that they're fixing. Let's start with Caleb Williams. He had the game-winning touchdown at Soldier Field. He scrambled for 17 yards, got the touchdown, went up 24-20, and that ended up being the final score, 24-20 over the Giants, even though 5 minutes prior to that touchdown, not even, it was 20-10. And the Giants were winning. The Giants were literally winning by 10. And then oh my goodness, I need to slow down. And then Jackson Dart got hurt. He had a concussion because he held onto the ball too long and just, like, kept running. And then one of our guys, I think it was CJ Gardner-Johnson, hit him. And the ball was fumbled. And then Dart left the game with a concussion. Russell Wilson came in, which I think it should have been Jameis Winston, but Jameis Winston will be playing against the Packers the next game. So they did see that Russell Wilson was not the best move against the Bears. So I would agree with that statement. Russell Wilson is a little older in age-wise. He's like probably mid-30s, I think. And out of his prime, to say the least. Anyways, Caleb Williams has done this for the 5th time in the last 10 games. He was able to engineer a late game winning drive, because we'll talk about what happened 2 weeks ago against the Bengals. You know, that, like, 58-yard touchdown by Colston Loveland. Whatever. You know, this was or is the most by any NFL quarterback during this time span, and his teammates are saying that he has ice in his veins, he's going to make it happen for us, he's Houdini, whatever, blah, blah, blah. All these, like, positives about him being clutch is being said about Caleb Williams, because he can do these incredible things when the team needs him to, and they trust him to do that, which is so valid because he's obviously proving that he can, and he will. On that note, they are fixing up a lot of issues that they have had in the past. Like, the first 3 weeks, awful with penalties. For some reason, they're having false starts all the time. The game just started. Why are you already false starting? They haven't done that in a really long time, though. And 3 penalties and 25 penalty yards, which is the fewest in both categories this season. So he is doing fantastic. Not only him, the team is doing great with not having penalties on the defensive and offensive side of the ball. Also, his line is locking in. Defensive line is locking in and allowing 0 sacks in his previous game against the Giants. They had 20 takeaways throughout this whole season. And Caleb Williams is going into his 19th game without an interception. He has previously had 18 games. He's on an 18-game interception-less streak. So that's fantastic. The guy we just got, CJ Gardner-Johnson, had 2 sacks. 2 in the game against the Giants. All himself. He had 2. That leads the team, as well as other things, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But he is a great defensive back, great pickup, and he's balling out, which is so good to see. Dennis Allen is doing a great job. He's our defensive coordinator, and he's doing a fantastic job orchestrating the defense, doing whatever, but yeah, the Bears are just looking great. They have had 4 consecutive games where Montez Sweat has recorded a sack, and that carried over into the Giants game. He had a sack recorded in that game, but the defense still needs some help, of course. There's just some plays where it's like, you guys gotta make that, or like, ooh, you could have, like, but there's no specifics that I can think of, but of course you can always improve. And we'll get into the offense. We cannot have 6 dropped passes, guys. Zacchaeus, if you're in the end zone, catch the ball if it hits you in the hands. King, what are you doing? what are you doing, pal? Because, like, it hit you right in the hands. I know it's cold. I know it's winter. But that's your job. You're getting paid to catch the ball. And there's another one where I don't know what happened, if he was looking upfield or if he turned too early, but it hit him right in the hands once again, hit him in the chest, in the hands, and he dropped it once again. I think that happened twice. It was just on the field, but there was one in the end zone where it would have been a touchdown and we wouldn't have been stressed in the fourth quarter because they wouldn't have been down, but it also would have been a completely different game. So I don't want to think about if he did catch it, the trajectory of the game, but Zacchaeus catch the ball. It wasn't just him that was dropping the ball, but there were 6 dropped passes that were thrown right into the receiver's hands or the tight end's hands or the running back's hands. Whoever's catching the ball, there were 6 dropped passes. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. Giving up yards. Whatever. Game recap. The Bears scored 2 touchdowns in the final moments when they were down 20-10, as I said earlier. Williams had a 2-yard touchdown pass to Roma Dunze to make the score 20-17 with a little under 4 minutes remaining. This is when it was getting scary, but it was a good little scramble for Williams to get to the 2-yard line, and then a good pass to Dunze. He was wide open, by the way, so I don't know who was on him, but whatever. The defense decided to finally lock in and force a 3-and-out by the Giants, and then this was the big play of the game. Williams' 17-yard scramble that made the score 24-20 with 1 minute and 47 seconds remaining. Too much time for the Giants offense to cook, but Russell Wilson was their quarterback, so we can be a little bit more like, they ain't gonna get they're not gonna do much. That's rude. I'm sorry. That was, yeah, they didn't do anything though, so the defense clinched a win for us. With 38 seconds left, the Bears got back on the field, victory formation, just now, that's not a word. They won. So, it was mainly because blitzing linebacker Tremaine Edmonds, he sacked or hit quarterback Russell Wilson and then forced an incomplete 4th and 10 to give us the ball back. The Bears are currently 6-3 and have won 6 of their last 7 games. The last time they did that was 2018. If you don't remember 2018 as a Bears fan, that was the year they were last in the playoffs, and let's just say we should be looking at kickers, potentially. If Santos wants to reverse the curse, go for it, King. I wouldn't really say it's a curse. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to trigger any Bears fans, but yeah. The double doink still lives in infamy in Chicago. This is going to sound crazy, but I looked up, I'm going to say his name, the kicker that we had in 2018, Cody Parkey. I'm going to say it a little quiet. But I looked him on Instagram. He has not posted on Instagram since 2018. So, I hope he's doing well. I absolutely wish him the best. Even though he ruined the Bears season, I wish him the absolute best. Because, yeah, I saw he had, a wife and kids, so I hope he has a very happy family. That was off track, but figured I should say that. I wish him the absolute best in life. Next, we'll talk about Ben Johnson and how confident he is with these Chicago Bears, I talked about this last podcast, he loves this team. He has his good, better, best thing, his little catchphrase, slogan, whatever you want to call it, and he does it after every game, before his press conferences. I think he says it during his press conferences, but he says it to the Bears locker room after a win, and it's so cute. If you get the chance to watch his post-game locker room videos, like, where he'll, like, go in the locker room, he'll do his little, like, spiel, give out the game balls, or game ball in case there's one or two, but he'll give those out, talk, do his good, better, best phrase, and it's the funnest thing ever, because guys get really into it, and it's so fun to see them actually, like, you could tell that they genuinely love each other, and it's so fun to see such a great team and that chemistry continue to build throughout the season, and see where this takes us, if this takes us into the playoffs, because we are currently tied for first in the NFC North, but we also have not played any opponents twice yet. We play the Vikings next week. That'll be the last time we play the Vikings. We played them week 1, and we play the Lions in December, and we also play the Green Bay Packers 2 times within a 3-week span. So it's going to be Packers, another team, and the Packers. We just got all our divisional opponents coming up. That's okay, though, because we're a better team than we were at the beginning of the season. And I'm just really happy with how this team has progressed. So quickly, too. I thought it'd take, like, the whole season, but they progressed so quickly. They really fixed their issues immediately. And Ben Johnson's talks very highly of Caleb Williams, and is like, I can't wait to watch game footage with him after this press conference or after this discussion. He's just very much with his quarterback, and that's fantastic to hear, because that means progress is going to be made super quickly. And Caleb Williams, at the beginning of the season, had his goal of getting 4,000 yards. I have a little poster on my wall that's keeping track of that, because why not? But no Bears quarterback has ever done that in Bears history. So if he does it, he would be the first, and very much deserving, because he's worked so hard to achieve that and has openly talked about his goals, and he just very much deserves it. He also had a goal of completing 75% of his passes, and I won't necessarily say he's on track for that. I have not looked recently, but he completed 20 of his 36 passes, but with those drop passes that went right to his receivers, it should basically be 26 to 36 passes, but he didn't complete those because his receivers decided not to catch the ball. He did have 220 passing yards, though, so keeping him on track for his 4,000 yards. He's just above 2,000, and he just needs to lock in these last 6 weeks. I think they're going into week 11. There's 17 games. Yeah. 6 more weeks. He needs to lock in and get 250 to 300 passing yards a game to achieve that goal. And I think he will, because he's super close as of now. Next up is our best defensive player, I believe so, CJ Gardner-Johnson. He is our defensive star right now. He was signed October 29th, so not that long ago. He has played in 2 games, and he has made such an impact on defense. He is leading the team. Well, he led the team in tackles. He had 9 in our last game against the Giants and had 2 sacks recorded, and he was the key takeaway in that Giants game. Right before it happened, the announcers were like, there needs to be a takeaway that happens either now or in the very near future, because whoever has the ball is going to win the game, and the Bears need to have the ball. So, because of that, immediately after the announcer said that, Gardner Johnson locked in, got the ball back from Jackson Dart, who suffered a concussion on that play. But that's okay. And I hope Dart recovers very quickly, because that poor New York Giants team lost Malik Neighbors at the beginning of the season, lost Cam Scadaboo, now they lost Jackson Dart. Hopefully he's not out too long, because that would really suck. But once they get back, and like next year, hopefully all their guys are healthy, they will be such a dominant team. It's going to be so fun. It was so fun to watch Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo. I can't imagine what they are going to be like next year. But again, Jackson Dart suffered a concussion. Russell Wilson came in, kind of threw the game. But a win is a win. The Bears won. It was Kyle Monangai who started the scoring in the first quarter. And it was an 8-yard touchdown by him. Rushing touchdown that started the game. It wasn't on the first drive. It was on like the second or third. But it still started the scoring. So, we'll take that. But Jackson Dart immediately answered and also scored a touchdown. But then they lost. So, but overall, another comeback victory by the Bears. And they're looking great. Super Bowl contenders. Let's get into the delusions. Super Bowl contenders, they're going to win the division. They're going to end up going to the Super Bowl. And they're going to win. Because who cares? Just, it's so fun just to say that. I think, genuinely, the Bears and the White Sox are going to be good at the same time. So they might win in the same year. That would be crazy. Okay, I need to stop getting ahead of myself. But if that does happen, I will be flying home, because it will be when I'm at college. The Bears will win the Super Bowl when I'm at college, and a couple months earlier, the White Sox will win the World Series. Technically the same year. That would be, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's the same year. In my head. A little preview of the Vikings game that is happening on Sunday. Fox is going to have their number one broadcast. We are so happy to have their number one broadcast. Yay, Tom Brady's announcing. He's gotten better. He has. And I really respect Tom Brady. I just think, like, some things are like, what? But he did pick Caleb Williams to be his player of the game, like week 2 or 3, when he last reported or broadcasted the Bears game. So, we'll see where that takes us. If he gives someone else player of the game, we'll see who that is. If it's like, because Tom Brady went to Michigan. Who else went to Michigan that's on the Bears? Anyways, the other announcer is going to be Kevin Burkhardt. He's going to be announcing with Tom Brady, and Aaron Andrews is going to be the sideline reporter for this broadcast. I'm so excited. I absolutely adore and look up to Aaron Andrews, because she is very much in the job and field that I want to be into. So, I respect her so much. I love watching her reports, her sideline things, or if she's just on ESPN on a panel talk, then I absolutely love watching her. And then the last guy is Tom Rindelli. He's going to be in the booth as well. So, those 4 people that are doing the broadcast. So it's going to be a solid broadcast, I think. The Bears are going into this week with a 4-game winning streak, and the 4th straight 1-score victory, specifically. Is this sustainable? Yes or no? No, it is not. Not saying 1-score victories aren't sustainable. It's the way they're winning them. Coming down, like, no. That's not sustainable at all. Even when we had a broken Baltimore Ravens team we were playing, they still lost because they're a good team. They have a great defense and they have great receivers, and even if they don't have their star quarterback starting, they still have other guys. We were also struggling with our run, so that wasn't great. And then also, the Bears didn't know how to stop the run, so Derrick Henry was probably going off. But yeah, it's just, you got to play well against good teams. You have to play well during weeks that you're going to play good teams, of course, but specifically the Vikings, because they're division opponents. So let's lock in Chicago Bears. That'd be fantastic. DJ Moore is questionable for this game due to a shoulder injury. That's okay. He sustained it during the Giants game, but that's okay. He should be fine. As of now, it's kind of a 50-50 odds for who's going to win this game, because both quarterbacks are in their sophomore season. They are also just both pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. They will be facing J.J. McCarthy once again. He's their quarterback. And yeah, he's also from University of Michigan. He won national championships, so he knows how to win if in clutch situations, if it gets down to it. So I don't think that fourth straight one-score victory thing will really mean anything if they don't get up first, but they also blew a lead when they last played them. They're up by 10 or more, and they blew it. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how they also play Colston Loveland and Rome Odunze, and what they do with Cal Monangai, if he just runs the ball the entire time. If DeAndre Swift is back, we'll see how that goes. And I'm just looking forward to the matchups, because what are these matchups going to look like? I'm super excited for this game. It should be so good. But yeah, last thing is the spread. Comment down below if you know what this means, because I'm uneducated on whatever sports betting is. The spread is plus 2.5 the Bears and minus 2.5 the Vikings. Whatever that is supposed to mean. So before we end my episode, I'm just going to say make sure you like and subscribe to my channel at Peyton's Warwick or Bases and Blitzes on Spotify and YouTube. And just make sure that you stay a part of my channel, because I will be posting weekly to talk about the Bears and the White Sox and any incoming news that comes up whenever there is anything. So yeah, that is all for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm your host, Peyton Zwerek, and you're listening to Bases and Blitzes.